In today's video, we are going to be going over how to research some information prior to you buying your land. I'm going to go ahead and take you through the entire process that myself and Elijah went through to go ahead and find our property, as well as verify the owner, all the information about it. Basically safeguarding everything before we actually put money down on it. Okay, so first I went ahead and found a piece of property. Pretty much it looks like a really good property. It looks legit, all that good stuff. So this person is selling 2.21 acres for $5,900. So these are the steps that you're going to be taking after you've already contacted the seller. As you can see here, you are able to send a generic message, or you can go ahead and send any questions that you may have outside of what that generic message would be. So you already verified that it is available for purchase. So now you would need to go in and start doing your research. So some information that you're going to end up needing from the actual posting of the piece of land. You are going to want to scroll to where you can find the APN number. Occasionally, this APN number may be called a parcel number. They're pretty much interchangeable, but they're the exact same thing. That is the ID number for that piece of land that you are buying. Once you get the APN number, then you want the acreage. So this seller is claiming that the land is 2.21 acres, but we are going to want to verify that as well. Another thing that you are going to want is either the coordinates or the address. Some vacant lands do already have an address to them. Some just have coordinates. So you will want either one of those. The next thing that you are going to want to grab is, of course, the seller's name, or you want the name of the company who is selling the land. So once you have all that information, the next step that you're going to end up doing is you're going to go to Google. Assuming that you already know what county that the land is listed in, you're going to want to access that county's assessor's website. The assessor's website is public, free information. Also, if you're not good with computers, you also have the option to call the county assessor's office as well. And you can literally have them verify all the information for you on the phone. But if you are tech savvy, you're good with computers, this is going to be the easiest way to do it, because you can bump out a bunch of properties all at one time. Okay, so once you are on Google, you will want to type in your county that the property is listed in. So Mohave County, and then we are going to do assessor parcel search. You'll end up coming here. So usually I'll try and look for anything that has GIS map attached to it. So we're gonna go ahead and click on that. So this is where you'll end up typing in your parcel number. So for our parcel number, for the one that we were looking at, it's 208.21.246. And then we will do a search on that one. And then you can see that the first thing that popped up here is the parcel number that we plugged in. And then over here, it will list the owner's name. Now this site does not have an address, so that is going to be empty. And then if it does have an additional owner on there, it will be listed here. So as you can see, this is listed as Terra Vest Land LLC is the actual owner of the property. And then as you go down here into this section, it confirms just same thing, parcel, the owner, and then the owner type, because they are an LLC. And then it will always have the address of the person selling the piece of property. If it's an individual selling it, the piece of land could be connected to a PO box, or it could be connected to their address that they actually live in. Basically, you just saw how quick it was to check off a bunch of boxes. We were able to verify the APN number. We were also able to verify who the owner is of the property. Also, you will want to look down here. This gives you the longitude, latitude. That should be matching what was listed on the property. However, be aware that sometimes they put different coordinates on the property because they'll grab corner coordinates, and then they'll also grab a center coordinate. So just make sure you look through all of those to make sure that those coordinates match. So once you have all of that information verified, the next thing that we are going to want to do is verify the tax information. It's important to make sure you're looking at the tax information, because you don't want to be buying property that has a lot of back taxes that are due on it, because that cost will be passed down to you when you buy the property. So you're going to be incurring the cost of the actual land itself, and then on top of that, the tax information. Now, when I went to go pull this one, for some reason, it's not pulling up the tax information. This was something that you would have to call. However, I did find a different property that does have the tax information listed on there. And so this is what that statement looks like. So it will have everything on there. It will have the person who owns the property, their address, and then it will also give you the parcel number. It will give you the total amount due for the year on taxes, and then it will also tell you if there's any back taxes. And then every single tax form should have a breakdown, like down here, of how much of your taxes is going to where. You just want to make sure you verify the property tax statement, and then it also prepares you so that you know what your taxes will be for the next coming year, because it shouldn't change. It won't start changing until you start building on the actual property. Going back over to the assessor's website, you are good with the taxes. It's either paid up or it's due by the end of the year. You can also see on here, if you scroll down, how the property is zoned. So it will either say zoning or it will say property class. So this property is zoned as a 02R. So you want to make sure that you verify that, because you don't want to end up buying land that's only for farming, or buying land that's only for animals, and then you can't build anything on it. Or buying a property where you can only build one building on it, and you want to build 3 houses. So you just want to make sure you double check what the zoning is. And then if you aren't familiar with what that is, occasionally it will have a little link for you. And then all you have to do is just go and look at that. And then it shows that it's 02R, agricultural, vacant land, nonprofit. And so once you get that, if you need more elaboration on what a 02R is and what you could specifically do, you could do a search through Google. Just type in 02R zoning, Mohave County, and then it will take you to another page on the county assessor's website, and it will break down what you can and what you cannot do on 02R property. So let's head back over to the assessor's website again. You can also end up seeing what the land was purchased for. So as you can see down here, it tells you the owner. They bought this piece of property in 2024, and then they bought it on a warranty deed, and they bought it as vacant land. And then it will also tell you the purchase price that they bought it for. So he bought this land for $2,200 roughly, and he's turning around and selling it for $59,000. So this is also a good way that you can bargain or negotiate with your price a little bit, knowing that he bought it for $22,000. Maybe he'll take, an even $5,000. Maybe he'll take $45,000. When it's a company selling it, you have a little bit more wiggle room, because clearly this company most likely is buying up a bunch of land and just reselling it. So they're not going to want to sit on it for a long time. So they are willing to negotiate. So never offer the exact price that they have it listed for. Always try and negotiate a little bit. The worst they can say is no, you buy the property and you keep on pushing. So always try. So also on here, so this is what we looked at earlier, the GIS map. That's what I showed you on Google. The GIS map, you don't have to look at it, but I personally like to look at it. Basically, it is the layout of that parcel through what's recorded with the county. So right here, it will pull up the property parcel number. It will give you the boundary so that you can see the rough estimate of what the size of the property is. Is it a square? Is it a rectangle? And is it long? Because I've seen a lot of properties where they're selling like 3 acres of property, but it's a very small slither of land. It's kind of like this size here, and it's 3 acres, and it's like, well, what can you truly build on it when it's only 40 feet wide? So, or 20 feet wide. So this one will give you an estimation of, the rough size of the property. It will also give you any roads as well. So you can see that some of your property here is on a road. So most likely there is an easement on this property. And then you can also see that a wash is running through here. You can also look at this on Google Maps. However, this one is a little bit better just because it gives you the parcel boundary. So you can truly see what is and what will not be yours. So, and then also, if you click on it, it will give you information as well, the person who owns it, along with the acreage. All right, so we've already looked at the GIS map. We've looked at the tax information. The last thing that I would tell you to look at is the FEMA flood map. So if you go into Google, you can just type in FEMA flood map. You don't have to type in an area, but it will take you to the FEMA website. It will look something like this, and then you would end up plugging in either the coordinates or the address if there's one given for the piece of land that you are looking at buying. When you hit search, it's going to pull up a map of the area. It will have it pinned where your property is. Now, what you're looking for on this map are these blue lines. These blue areas are what FEMA classifies as a flood zone area. So they anticipate that if we get heavy rain or if something for some reason, that is the most likely area to pool water, and water will flow through there. Yes, water will flow through washes. As you can see, this property is in the middle of a wash. However, these are designated flood areas. And so what you're looking for with this is you want to make sure that your land is not in the flood area. However, if it is in the flood area, it's still something that you can purchase. However, there may be different building requirements for it. I know that in certain areas, if it is in a floodplain, you have to build your foundation in your house a certain amount of inches off the ground so that the flood water can go through. You might have to use extra reinforcement for your structure. So, it's a little bit extra work that you have to do, but if you want to do it, you can. But personally, I would stay out of a flood zone. We don't need everything washing away when it rains. So that is pretty much all I have for you. Just make sure you're doing these steps anytime you go to purchase land, whether it's vacant or non-vacant. Agricultural, farmland, anything. You just want to make sure you check your bases just to make sure that everything is lined up. But at the end of the day, even after doing your research, you just want to make sure that you're using your best judgment, knowing that if something just doesn't feel right with the seller, maybe don't go through with it. But just always make sure that you go through these steps by verifying all that information. If you have any questions further, or you have any questions about searching for something that I did not mention on here, feel free to leave a comment down below, and I will see you in the next video.